Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, the Skuxxoid takes center stage as we review Void Rivals number 19. Today is Friday, May 30th, 2025, and this is episode 444 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that talks TV. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
What's happening? Let's talk Transformers.
All right, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to support us and contribute to the show. And welcome back to one of our Donatreons who has come back and resumed their subscription. So thank you, Ken, for joining up again and also returning to the Discord as well. So Ken, welcome back. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support, and we look forward to hanging out with you on the Discord as well. So great job, Ken. Welcome. And of course, thank you to everyone else as well. And if you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, which includes some bonus content like our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. And we've got 14 episodes of We Like Big Bots available on our Patreon page. More coming this year at some point, according to Dr. Pants. And we hope Daryl. So look forward to that. And but in the meantime, catch up on all the other Big Bots episodes with Daryl and Dr. Pants, showing off all the bots in their collection. We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. This week was episode 136, Seraphim Shrugged, and that's available for everyone at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. You can download that right now. Next week, next Monday, will be the bonus uncut version of episode 137 that will be exclusively for Donatrons. And then a week from Monday will be the regular version of episode 137 out available for everyone. So look forward to that. We've also got our exclusive Skybound Transformers #1 comic. You can get that at our website, transmissionspodcast.com/comic. We've got the cover art by EJ Sue. So this is our exclusive comic cover and version that is available only from Transmissions Podcast. So check that out. And this is we've only got a couple more days left on our May Day, our May promo code for toyhacks.com. So use that code MaydayCon to save 15% off all your purchases at toyhacks.com. So that you've only got a couple more days. That expires on May 31st. Then next week, we will have a brand new code for the month of June. So stay tuned for that. But right now, that code MaydayCon still works for you. So enjoy. And that's all for promos. So let's get into the show and get right into our comic review.
All right, we are looking at Void Rivals number 19. This is written by Robert Kirkman and new artists starting this issue. Connor Hughes is taking over the art duties. Colors by Patricio Del Pesce, letters by Rush Wooten, and editors Ben Abernathy. So the story begins on the Skuxxoid's Rockeroid, where Wreck-Gar and some of his fellow Junkions are watching as the two halves of Skuxxoid are generating their respective other halves. Once the two are more stable, Wreck-Gar has the ship tow the Rockeroid and takes all of them back to the planet Junkion. On this planet, when they get there, the two Skuxxoids are taken off on a stretcher by Wreck-Gar and the other two Junkions as someone is looking on from the shadows inside the ship. Later, Skuxxoid wakes up with a shock, asking where his wife and kids are. The other Skuxxoid, who was made from the top half of the original, tries to calm him down. And he says to ignore the scar on his face, but he explains that they're both Skuxxoid, but not the original. The newly awakened one doesn't believe him, but he remembers everything so clearly. The other one laughs in his face, and then he explains that he remembers being in the same situation. The wife and kids that they remember were never theirs. They were the wife and kids of what he calls the original. Then he explains that when they lose a big enough piece of themselves, it grows a whole nother Skuxxoid. They have all the memories of the original, which are the strongest ones, sometimes overriding their true memory. This causes confusion and makes them forget themselves for a short time, like what happened to Skuxxoid on his Rockeroid. It never fully goes away, but he says that he gets used to it. Then the first Skuxxoid looks around and realizes that he doesn't know where they are when suddenly Acronis, who was left to die on the ship by the other Cobra Law team, attacks them from above. The first Skuxxoid thought he killed him with his blaster, but Acronis says that only his armor was killed. As the Skuxxoids try to evade the attack, Rekgar returns, and he becomes the new focus of Acronis' attack. Though his sword does nothing to the robot, and from behind Rekgar, the Skuxxoid yells that Acronis' people left him to die. Then Rekgar just places his hand down on top of Acronis, keeping him subdued but not hurting them. Realizing that there's no victory here, Acronis yields and Rekgar lets him up. The Skuxxoids are shocked. Why is he letting this guy go? Rekgar says that they have nothing to fear but fear itself, and that they're all junk on the planet. The Skuxxoids are frustrated by not being able to understand what the Junkion is saying, but Acronis realizes and translates. He says that Rekgar sees everyone there as equals. Then he realizes that Rekgar is speaking the way humans on Earth speak, and that TV broadcasts must make it out here. And then he's happy that his people were never caught up with this technological poison. Then Rekgar looks up and yells, the plane, as the mysterious robotic figure who had been spying on the Skuxxoid for a while now chooses to attack with a blaster. It engages the Junkions while the Skuxxoids try to get away, but then suddenly it slips from the Junkion's grasp and tosses a device towards the Skuxxoids that stuns them. The newly awakened Skuxxoid asks what this new mysterious figure wants, and simply says that it will be, and he simply says that it will all be revealed in time. Cronus wants to know if he means that it's going to be revealed to the Skuxxoids or to everyone, but just as quickly as he arrived, the mysterious figure uses a jetpack to launch him with the Skuxxoids in tow to his ship above. Aboard this ship, the first Skuxxoid has awakened and demands to know what's going on. Their abductor simply orders them to silent or be silent and points a pistol at them. When they get to their destination, which seems to be another Rockeroid, they're ordered to come and find purpose and meaning in life as a part of the army of Skuxxoid Alpha, as we see an older Skuxxoid standing in front of an army of thousands of other Skuxxoids. To be continued. So this issue, for one, thanks Skuxxoid so many times, is very tiring on my tongue. um, we gave Void Rivals a pretty rough review with issue 18, and this one being solely focused on Skuxxoid from beginning to end was a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed the story. I know it's a break from the main story in the series, but we've been getting just like a page here and a page there of the Skuxxoid story, and getting kind of this full kind of um, taste of what's going on. I really enjoyed it. I like getting the Junkions involved. It makes sense. At first, I didn't know what was going on with the whole regeneration thing, because you see like tiny legs on a big body and big legs with a tiny upper torso, and so just like until kind of you see them both fully regenerated, I was like, okay. I thought the Junkions were doing something to them, but it was a fun story. The I did also have to go back and look up the person I was saying mysterious figure. I dug through the TF wiki trying to see if it ever had a name, and that's what they called it. It has not been named yet. So it's the robot character with like the TV for a head. Um, so I was just calling him a serious figure until we have a name. Um, but really neat kind of concept of what they're doing with Skuxxoid, and kind of a tragic figure, but I really enjoyed it, and it looked like Acronis is going to be hanging out with the Junkions from now. So I don't know. This was just a really fun kind of single story. I think the letters page says we'll get these occasionally. And the art I thought was really good. I actually think I like the art a little bit better than the last artist. It just was a little bit cleaner to my eyes, but it was still great. The coloring made it, you know, match the tone of the previous books. So, and just this was a thoroughly enjoyable book, and I was really happy to see it after the last issue. So, Charles, let's go with you first. And what were your thoughts on the book?
Yeah, I mostly agree with you. I mean, I like the fact that I know this was a Skuxxoid focus issue, but I mean, Rekgar and the Junkions were a big part of this too, and it was great seeing them there, seeing multiple designs of the Junkions in addition to Rekgar, and having the Talk TV thing brought back in, and Robert Kirkman did really capture the Junkion voices really well. I thought he did a really great job with putting those making those TV phrases uh relevant for what they were saying and everything. And then I think it's a bit of a stretch that the Cobra La guy is is familiar with TV broadcasts, but okay, whatever. I mean, he
Yeah.
like I think
Well,
the Cobra La.
he was familiar with the concept, and I think because he was one of the Cobra Law people that was allowed to go out. But when they
Yeah.
did the same bat time, same bat channel, like tune in tomorrow, he didn't get that, and he was like, "I guarantee we're not going to know what's going on tomorrow."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
that was good. Yeah. And but the whole Skuxoid thing is very weird. Yeah, having Skuxoid be this kind of like, what are those plant worms that you cut them in half and they grow into two things, Uh
like a
okay. I
starfish.
mean, yeah, like it was that's interesting. I mean, it raises a whole other set of questions. Like, is this something that his entire species can do, or is he just like a one like science experiment guy who was created in a lab, like the original Skuxoid, and then has been, I guess the original Skuxoid has just been cutting off pieces of himself and having them grow up and grow his army or whatever. But I did like finally getting this mysterious robot guy. I think the first time he showed up was in the Energon Universe special from last year.
Yeah,
So finally having this guy show like, oh, I guess he's working for Skuxoid Alpha, and that's why has been tracking the Skuxoid that we know and love, I guess. So that's fine. I mean, and having the Arcronus, the Cobra La guy, getting some stuff to do was good. Yeah, I thought it was a fun issue, self-contained and a complete story. Like, they didn't drag out the Skuxoid. Like, they mentioned the original Skuxoid, and then immediately by the end of the issue, we see, oh, there's Skuxoid Alpha, and he looks like he's pretty old, so he must have been around for a long time. So
hmm,
having that one mystery tied up at the very end of the issue, I thought made for a good self-contained story. So, but it leaves the door open to see where it's going to go next, and how it's going to tie into the main story. So I thought that was nice. And yeah, in the letters column, Robert Kirkman mentions how the Skuxoid thing kind of took on a life of its own. Like, it was originally just supposed to be a throwaway character, but he just fell in love with Skuxoid and gave him more and more stuff to do
yeah,
until now he gets his own solo issue.
cool. Daryl, what were your thoughts on the book?
Um, mine differ from your two, a bit. I enjoyed the idea that Skuxoid had this ability to regenerate, um, because of the fact that he's a character from the G1 cartoon where we really don't get a lot of backstory on him. So that I appreciated the a bit more backstory. So we got a bit about his this family that he's been fighting for that he really isn't his, and then and the fact that if you cut off a big enough chunk, it grows another body. I appreciated that. That was an interesting little tidbit to kind of add to the Skuxxoid mythos. But for the most part, I thought the issue was pretty dumb. I eh, the future books, future issues of Void Rivals may make this issue make more sense and make it more important. But as it stands right now, I felt like it was kind of stupid. It didn't do anything for me. The Cobra Law guy, he was there, he fought the the Rekgar held him down and he gave up immediately. And and there was no fight. Um the Once he let him go, he's like, okay, cool, we're good now. I figured the Cobra Law guy would have been, as soon as he got let go, he would have either tried to escape or try to kill the Skuxxoid again. But no, he's just like, okay, cool. Well, I guess we're on a team now, right? So
Yeah.
it made no sense that they just kind of teamed up right after he tried to kill him. I agreed with the Skuxxoid at the time. He's like, well, wait a minute, this guy just tried to kill us, you know. Um, the the voice of Retgar I did find was as like they kept using phrases from the 86 movie which you could pick out, and that was fine, but I would assume that their language would include many more phrases. If they talked TV, they would have to have numerous other phrases to use, right? And so the amount of phrases that they used in the book that matched the movie um, seemed odd
Yeah.
to me.
I mean,
So that
it seems like in the years between then and now, you could have thrown in some of those phrases,
right. So
like
they
a
would have
Walking Dead phrase.
that would have been kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like something about Carl or something like that.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. Um, but there's so yeah, so that, and then like this, as far as moving the story along, it really didn't do much of that. It just it added a lot of backstory for the Skuxxoid, which I already said I appreciated. Um, it it gave us the planet of junk and the Junkions, which I think we'd already seen. Um,
No, I don't think so.
I think we got at the end of the last issue, he showed up like after,
okay,
like on the Rockeroid, but we
right.
didn't really get any
I'd have to
explanation.
go back and look through the issue, but is it just Rekgar and this other minion, or are there
There were
others?
two other ones.
There's two other ones. Okay. Um, so yeah, I would expect if once they arrive at their planet and he's got a bunch of other people there, like or a new like prisoners or something, I would expect there to be a bunch more,
When
you know,
I see
junkions
in
around.
one panel, we see three other ones.
Okay,
So there are more, but the only ones we get details of are the ones that had toys.
gotcha. So all in all, I thought the book was fairly dumb, but I agree that I like the art better than the last artist. Um, but I stand by my comment that I believe this book may end up being more important with with information provided in future issues.
Yeah.
But that's left to be said. Standing on its own as a single issue, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, one thing I'm wondering, you know how like in like the 80s and 90s, they would do like the fifth week of a month would have the annuals or something special.
Mhm.
I wonder. I'm not sure what week of the month this was. If it's the fifth Wednesday or if it's just the fourth. Um, but I wonder if every few issues. I mean, he said this is going to happen occasionally. Hopefully, not more than once a year, but maybe like quarterly or twice a year, we get one of these standalone issues that takes
Mhm.
one of the side stories and advances just that little bit,
Mhm.
where
This
more than just a couple pages we get in a regular book.
this is the 5th week of May, uh, because the first was on a Wednesday,
Okay.
A
so this would be the
Thursday.
5th.
It was a Thursday. So it's only
Oh, Thursday.
there's only 4 Wednesdays in May.
Okay, but it's still the 5th week. There's a you know
Uh,
I mean, the first was a Thursday, so I mean, you
yeah.
had 3 days in the first week.
Okay. Well, I mean, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's
it's half a week. It's half a week.
it
Slightly
was
less than
just
half a
I
week.
don't know. It was just a thought, but still, I mean, I'm wondering like the next time we get one of these standalone issues, would it be
Mhm.
the Cobra Law people or the Quintessons or something? Just
Sure.
getting just a little bit further on that one story, but the regular books are going to be the frustrating. Here's a page of the Quintessons. Now on
Mhm.
to the. You know, but
So, just a quick look at my calendar as I'm on my computer here. July, um, October, and December have 5 Wednesdays in them. So,
Hmm.
get ready for Transformer Wednesdays from
all right.
from Skybound.
So I
Well,
mean, I hear your criticisms, Daryl. I'm still like even though this doesn't move the overarching story along very much, I like having a single issue, like kind of side story, self-contained issue, even if it's doesn't really tie into anything, and
I know, but we like different
it's
things
fun.
because you like story and I like fights. So,
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I'm
we're not
just
going to
saying.
agree on this. It's
yeah.
I
fine.
I I I didn't say we had to, so that's fine.
Damn it, Charles. Stop trying to make me agree with you.
Oh, it does look like this issue has a sketch cover. So if you're in with the sketch covers, this issue has one. Um, as they do with
I
like
want the
many of the new story arcs.
I want the EJ Sue cover, but that's like cover F, so I probably won't be able
Yeah.
to get that one. That's the Rekgar, the good, like nice, clean Rekgar design.
Like Lorenzo
Mhm.
Di Felici still gets the cover A's.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
EJ Sue cover is a 1 in 100 variant. So good luck with that.
Yeah. Maybe if I just email EJ Sue, like did you get any of those that you're willing to
Yeah.
part with?
Yeah, there's a cover D is a 1 in 25 is a pretty cool looking Rekgar riding riding another Junkion cover. It looks pretty
Hmm.
badass.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's another thing. They didn't transform in this issue, did they?
Nope.
No, but yeah, they were there. And Transformers or Cybertronians.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's the comic review. I think um, this book continues to be frustrating to me overall, but this issue was fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to some media news.
All right. And if you're in the UK, then Transformers 1 is available for streaming for you in the UK. Um, you can stream it now on Paramount Plus in the UK, rated 12 plus. Um, yeah, enjoy. It's been out for a while. If you haven't been able to stream it before, you haven't been able to check it out over finding it on the high seas. It's there. I mean, it's been there for a
Yeah.
while.
I think that it came out in theaters a little bit later in the UK. So that's
Did yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, officially it is now available for streaming in the UK. So there you go. And we got a businessy business news with the gaming with involves gaming. So I'm going to pass it over to our gaming expert, Dr. Charles.
Did you forget who I was?
I
No.
thought I heard a P sound starting and then realized Dr. Pants sitting on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently Hasbro's CFO and COO Gina Gooder sat down at this year's JP Morgan Global Technology Media and Communications Conference. That is not her in the picture there if you're watching the video. Uh, they talked about they have an upcoming AAA game with Saber Interactive, but they have not actually revealed what franchise this game is going to be in. So this was announced in February that they're partnering with Saber Interactive, and Hasbro is investing in the development of the game. They are also um, doing their own video games, 100% building, supporting, publishing, and investing, uh, but no more information about what actually they're doing. And then they also mentioned that John Haidt is being appointed as president of Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming. So that is the picture there. That is John Haidt in the picture right there. I don't know if that's going to have any effect on any future Transformers themed games, but of course, Wizards of the Coast is riding high off of Baldur's Gate 3 from a couple of years ago. That was a big video game that made a lot of money and also was very popular. Although that was developed by Larian Studios, so that was not developed in house by Wizards of the Coast. It was a licensed game that Larian Studios did, and they actually are not on board for doing another sequel to that Baldur's Gate game. So there might be a Baldur's Gate 4, but it will not be developed by the same studio, Larian Studios. But maybe Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast is shopping it around to see if it'll get done somewhere else. I guess we'll see, although that has nothing to do with Transformers. But, maybe that Saber Interactive game could be a Transformers game, but we have no idea. Although, this is coming off the heels of the previous AAA game for Transformers Reactivate already being canceled. That was a licensed game that was canceled by the studio working on it when it just basically the development got out of scope, got out of hand, and didn't really come together, unfortunately. So I don't know what's going to happen. We have really no idea if there's going to be any big support for future Transformers themed games. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the business inside scoop on Hasbro Gaming for the future. So good luck.
I mean, the only thing I can say is that generally when a corporation decides to take all of their assets and decide, I'm going to, instead of farming this out to a company that actually, does this work professionally, we're going to take this in house and we'll do this ourselves. In my experience, that ends up horribly. So I expect the games to come out of Hasbro to be horrendous. Hasbro
It'll
makes
probably
horrendous games.
It'll probably be like the stupid little mobile game.
Oh my god, I hope not. Anyway, that's what I'm assuming is what's going to happen there. This John Haidt being appointed the president of Wizards of the Coast. I mean, and digital gaming. So Wizards of the Coast obviously I know them more for Magic the Gathering. And that is something that is really keeping Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast afloat right now. That makes money like you would not believe. So, yeah, but they have a mobile game and a PC game and an app and all that stuff that works very, very well and makes an awful lot of money. So they don't need to really mess with that. So, but I believe they have a movie coming out too that's being worked on too. So all of this
Magic
kind
the
of stuff.
Gathering movie?
Yeah, there's a Magic the Gathering movie
Oh.
in development. So it might be starting to shoot soon. I don't know. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. It's in development for sure though. So yeah, the huge success of the Dungeons and Dragons movie, they're gonna take it one step further and go into Magic the Gathering. So yeah. Anywho,
Satire detected.
Thanks for the assist, Charles. And that's it for media news.
All right. Well, and that will take us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. So, of course, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John 4X11Good and Steve C. You guys are awesome. And everyone else out there watching and listening, you're awesome as well. Hope you enjoyed our review of Void Rivals 19 this week. Why don't you write in and let us know what you thought of the issue and what you think of the Energon universe in general going forward. This week, we had actually 2 Energon universe comics come out. So both Void Rivals 19 and G.I. Joe number 7 came out in stores. So we'll actually review G.I. Joe number 7 next week. So look forward to that. Daryl especially is looking forward to that. So
can't wait.
We'll see. So we'll see you then. All right, everyone. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.